Thank you for coming today in order to start on CBET, curriculum development. We are going to teach out here. We need to understand some basic things. First, we have to understand about occupation standards. And I know some of you know some the definitions of some and how you think they are interpreted. And I want to ask some of you to maybe tell us what occupation standards are.
So Dan, can you tell us what occupation standards?
Yes, according to me, the occupation standards are skills, aptitude, and knowledge that are in a specific field in order to accomplish the task he or she does.
And maybe just to add on it is that it is also a guide that leads development now of a particular curricula, and it is mainly derived from the industry that really needs that particular skill. And as a result of the industry now, it is where now the education stakeholders now get the idea on how to fabricate a given skill to be taught in an education setup, so that now after passing that skill, the industry can now absorb that skill back. Yeah.
And also wanted to add on occupation that is not limited to skill only, but on the knowledge of that occupation and the behavior of the person undertaking that occupation, like how a teacher behaves is a bit different from how a nurse behaves. And so we have to take into account knowledge, behavior, and the skill set.
Now, I think that is just basically what occupational standard is. And I think for occupational standard, it is split into several components. So I think we shall mention each component and try to explain the scope and try to explain the components of the occupational standard. So, Lucy, you can tell us one component.
One component is the unit of competency.
So what does the unit of competency mean?
Unit of competency is, these are the what, okay, in education, it refers to the topics being taught. That's what they mean by unit of competency.
Yeah, I think that is basically we can go to number 2.
Unit code. This is where in a unit there is a code, and each code stands for something. Like if it is IT, stroke OS, stroke ICT, all those they have meanings. Whether it is a core or it is a basic or common unit. Yes.
I can add on that so that you can expand on it. I think the unit code is categorized into 6 levels. Yes. So I think we can specify the levels and each with their meanings. So Dan, you can take us to one.
Yes, so the first is the department. The department we have the industry. Yeah, the industrial department. Am I right?
Yeah, in the school you can say it's the department.
Department. So for example, we're going to look like, for example, IT, stroke OS, stroke ICT, stroke CR. Yeah, so the first one IT is the industrial, like the department. Yes. So Grace, I think you can specify what the OS means.
OS means the occupational standard.
So the occupational standard that you are talking about, what is an occupational standard? I think now that is where we get the meaning of what it is, that's you need to acquire, and it's learning outcomes. I think after the occupational standard, Gabriel, you can take us through what the next one means.
English. Then
SCD.
Unity.
Yes.
ICT, I think it is a course of constitution to be covered.
The course of department.
Yeah, you are right on that, but now if you go to the course, it narrows down and limits a lot. But in this context, we are talking now in an institutional setup. After we have got from the industry and then specifying that this is an occupation standard code, then remember it has now been escalated. Now it is an institutional setup. So we specify the department under which that code or that subject or that unit is going to be taught. For that, for instance, in this context is now the ICT department. So that's why we stop with ICT. You are just right.
So I have a question. So the IT and ICT are the same because of
No,
They are two different things.
yeah, this is-
The first IT represents the industry itself.
And
The
I
second
said
ICT, the ICT is the department in the school.
Maybe just to outline the difference between the two. Remember, here we are creating a guide that is going to guide development of a curriculum. And therefore, the intention here is that the industry is going to give the specifications that are going to be rolled to academic institution for them to pass that skill now. So the occupation standard is tailored for education purposes. So as a result of that, in educational setup, it is being taught within a given department. So the department we are talking about in education setup like this institution is now the ICT. Yeah.
Now we have finished the third one. Now we go to the fourth one, which is the CR or the B. So, Billy, I think you can tell us.
I think this part, this can represent you can see the format of that unit of competence. Yeah, so whether core, basic, yeah.
Oh, it's a common.
Yeah, if it is a core subject, we call it CR, right? If it is a basic unit, it will be BC.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I think the last one. Yeah, the second last two are labeled.
And the second last two, one is the number, how those units are arranged within a particular course, how they are arranged. So it takes the number of that particular course. And then the last one is now the level of study. And that one is provided by the Kenya National Qualifications Authority that this should be at this level. Therefore, where we have level 5, level 6, level 4. Yeah.
So, I think we are through about the number 2, that is the unit code. Hezron, you can take us through the
The third one is unit description. This is where you describe the unit you're going to teach before you start teaching the class.
Yes.
You give the students introduction on how you what they expect to learn.
I think that is basically what it is.
And also maybe we can also just add for personal knowledge that this unit description is derived from the job descriptions that the industry require.
So that is basically what we have here on that. Then we go to the number 4, which is the elements. So the elements is the title of the, is it the topic that we are going to discuss?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the first topic that we are going to learn. The arrangement of the topic.
Yes.
Yeah. So you split the unit into several topics. So those are basically the elements.
And those topics are based on the key outcomes you expect for that unit. Yeah. And the sixth one is the performance criteria for each element. Is a way they will be taught and how you will be determine whether you achieved those outcomes. And so for each element there are performance criteria. So some units is maybe theoretical teaching, and some other there may be some application concepts and maybe even analyzing and all those. And then I think
Knowledge is the knowledge which has been supposed to demonstrate by the end of the study.
So let's say we are doing a computer installation. The required knowledge is they learn how the students will learn how they will install the software. And then, yes?
The range.
Yes. Range, yes. Range is the next one. Yes. So range is
The range is the working environment and condition where the performer is taking place. So for example, if you are doing a procedure station, how do you arrange your lab? Yeah.
but you can also say range. Yes. Range can be the requirements that you need, maybe when you go to a laboratory, maybe if you are installing computer software. If you are installing computer software, you need to have safety masks. Let's say when there is an outbreak of something. So it is basically what goes on inside where you are working on, and the requirements that are needed there.
So we can conclude that there are requirements, items or elements that are required to pass to achieve a skill, to achieve a certain learning outcome.
Yeah. That will be. Then
The last one,
yes.
evidence, strict guide, evidence guide. It deals with the assessment.
Yes. Evidence guide.
Yes.
Evidence guide.
It deals with the assessment.
Okay, so like
The continuous assessments or the final assessment, they make part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, basically based especially on the CBET curricula that is heavily advocated by the industry, we notice that learning is student-centered, and as a result, there must be a way of assessing or evaluating if actually the learning outcome is actually being achieved. And to be able to do that, assessments must be done. And mainly, in this case, assessment is aimed at evaluating how the curricula is working and if the required skill is being passed to the learner. Si kama kitambo walikuwa wanaona kama the death sentence.
Yeah, I have a question. So the performance criteria and the evidence guide, like, what I'm seeing is like,
but the evidence criteria is after the whole unit.
so the whole unit.
Yes.
The performance criteria basically is what is expected that a learner must acquire at the end of that session, of that learning. The expectation that the learner, the industry expects that this learner should acquire these skills.
So I think you understood the difference between the performance criteria and the evidence.
Any other relevant question concerning occupation standards? Good.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think you are good on that too. So Billy, you can summarize what we have learned in that.
So basically today we have focused on the occupational study, and we have focused on what is it and its application in the learning process. So we have also looked at the elements. So maybe to point out, we have looked at the unit code as a component, and also the other components which now address the occupational study. Yeah. So we can finalize on that. So another thing maybe to note is the benefits. So maybe the benefits of the use of the occupational study in defining learning outcomes, yeah, and such. So thank you for your time.
I think